Well, the media is always looking for a narrative, and supposedly there was one here. Danny Rose and Jose Mourinho in a big bust-up. And then Jose says, like, come on, nothing's really happened.
I would suggest that there maybe was words, but I would also suggest that to call it a big bust-up is kind of like playground stuff. You know, in professional football, when things are not going well, you will find that there are more disagreements than there usually are. And so for particularly Mourinho to, after being on such a bad run, start to pick out some players and start pointing the finger, that is not unusual. Now, every player reacts differently. Some players will take it for what it is and figure that the manager's having a go at me for a reason here. And it's probably because I'm not doing what I should be doing. Other people will take it as, oh, he's blaming me. Who does he think he is? You know, particularly in today's game, the way players are set financially, you know, previously you had to watch what you were doing because it was your bread and butter. Mm-hmm. You couldn't have a go back. Now players can have a go back. So now we're starting to get into the types of characters that Mourinho has. And I think he's been surprised because when he took over this side, he looked at the team sheet, he looked at the names and thought, I've got some good players here. I can get this team going again. But I think what he didn't realise is that it's not about the ability all the time. This team, in my opinion, has got a mental problem. Because they've got quality and they're not producing it, tells me there's something going on between their ears.
You were in the game, the top level of the game, for more than 30 years. On average, how often was there a bust-up in training?
Not very often. Listen, when was the last time Mourinho was involved in a bust-up in training?
Well, we don't know. I mean, that's the thing. You get the open session, 15 minutes or so, but they're not going to fall out there, are they? It's whispers, isn't it? It's people saying to their pals, and that gets out.
Oh, well, and the strange thing is, these whispers never seem to happen when you're on a winning streak.
Liverpool, how many bust-ups have they? I'm sure there's been at least 1 or 2 Liverpool bust-ups this season in training. And no one said anything about it. Who cares? They've got on with it and patched it up.
No, exactly. And sometimes it's healthy, but sometimes it can be destructive. And that comes back to the character of the players you have. You know, you've got this guy coming out and saying that all he wants to do is run his contract down and get out of the building. That is a recipe for disaster for a dressing room, because you've got a guy who, and we're not guessing here, obviously doesn't want to be there. Mm. So if you think he's going to come into the dressing room every day and try and encourage everybody else, because he's not been playing, and I'm sure that's a huge part of the reason he's not been playing, if you think he's going to come in every day and be all sugar and spice and all things nice and try and gee the rest of the players up, don't kid yourself. He'll be moping around. He'll be in the sour grape. We used to call it sour grapes gang. Guys who weren't happy would go around moaning and groaning and just making the atmosphere difficult. So I wouldn't be shocked if these two had words.
Well, it would be understandable. Are we looking at the longevity of him at Spurs now a little bit more intense because of what happened at Man United? And he wasn't exactly flavour of the month there, especially towards the end.
Well, I think it's not just Man United. I mean, Real Madrid as well. It's been the same kind of scenario. That's his recent history has been one of going in with a smile and coming out, and everybody can't wait to get the guy out the door.
Even at the second spell at Chelsea as well, but that's the way he is. He's not been as successful as he is because he's trying to make friends with everyone.
Well, he was initially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every single player that played for him said they would run through a brick wall for him. And then
you can only pick 11 on a match day, and then it starts to become.
And then somewhere down the line, it went the other way, and now people can't wait to get him out of the building and don't want anything to do with him. Listen, it's a little early to suggest that's going to happen, because I can assure you, when you're on a losing streak as a coach, you have to ruffle some feathers. You have to figure a way out how to get your team going. And sometimes that's what you do. You throw a little hand grenade in there to try and stir things up.
Let's just calm down a little bit, shall we, with Mourinho's future for now.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.